I mean, he's cleaned Trump's clock, Biden, in terms of the progress on job creation.
Cue Gavin Newsom. We've got a presidency to fill here. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. There's a woke absurdity named Gavin Newsom. Love what he's done with California. It's great. He has dramatically reduced the number of people who lives in homes. He has stripped away freedoms just like they're something you would strip away. That would have been a good point to insert an intelligent analogy. But anyway, Gavin Newsom, as I'm sure you've heard throughout the whole Corvid saga, he's taken California down the drain. He is just a World Economic Forum puppet. He's got someone up to their elbows, stuck up his you-know-what, controlling him, pulling the strings. He hangs out with Justin Trudeau. And if you didn't know any better, you'd say he's a communist. But if you do know better, you'd realize, oh, he is a communist. Because actions speak louder than words. You can say, no, I'm a Democrat. Okay, cool, but if you act like a communist and govern as a communist, then you are in fact a communist. You call yourself a Democrat because you know that looks better than calling yourself what you are and what you act like and what your policies are. So, is Gavin Newsom going to be the Democratic nominee for the 2024 presidential election? I think so. Or even sooner. And things are heating up. In a second, I want to show you a breakdown from a highly intelligent man breaking down how and why he thinks Gavin Newsom's going to be in for president. But first, let's take a quick clip. Gavin Newsom, he was interviewed by Sean Hannity. You probably know of him. He's a news anchor on Fox that Fox hasn't fired, so you got to think... he's not doing his job right. So Sean Hannity interviewed Gavin Newsom, which one was interesting because Fox, yes, it's corporate control, uniparty propaganda, but part of their propaganda, they're controlled opposition. So they, at least as a network, pretend to be conservative and pretend to be against the leftist lunatics out there. So Sean Hannity, nonetheless, interviewed Gavin Newsom. So it's kind of like a bridge between two places. So that was interesting. And part of the interview, Sean Hannity directly asked him, I think your phone's ringing all the time with people trying to get you to run for president. Are you going to run for president and unseat Biden? Gavin Newsom, of course, gave a wishy-washy answer. We'll talk about why it was wishy-washy, even though his answer is probably yes. But first, let's take a look at this clip of Sean Hannity's question and Gavin Newsom's wavering response, where he's probably just lying through his teeth, trying to conceal the truth. Off we go.
I would bet on a daily basis that there are people urging you to run for president and primary him. Am I wrong in my assumption?
Well, my phone's been lighting up how well he did with the UK Prime Minister.
No, it hasn't, Gavin. No, your phone's not lighting up with people wanting to talk to you about how good Biden has done. Gavin Newsom is a good politician. He's not a good human being by any stretch, but as far as a politician, someone who they'll take a question and not answer the question, but just smoothly spin the question into a form where he can give the answer he wants to try to manipulate people and how they're thinking about him. Unlike RFK Jr., my experience just tells the truth. He's not trying to manipulate people with his answers. He has answers with substance, information that you can actually learn from. So RFK Jr., he is a good person, not a good politician. That's why RFK Jr., I think he'd be great as president. We don't want good politicians in the offices of politicians. But Gavin Newsom, he doesn't give you any substance. It's just spinning the question and redirecting it, which we just saw there. Well, let's see more.
Phone lit up and how he's...
That's a nice start.
McCarthy on the debt ceiling.
Your phone light up?
My phone lights up with Republican friends saying, you know what? Despite all of the rhetoric, these bipartisan bills he keeps passing on infrastructure and the CHIPS and Science Act, the bipartisan work he did on gun legislation reform and around the debt ceiling, make me feel maybe he's done a little bit better job than some.
But that wasn't my question. Does your phone light up with, Gavin, you need to get in this primary? He's not able to run. He's not up to the job.
Look, everybody has their quiet chatter, and everybody's out there rooting for America.
All right, so he's obviously just not going to answer the question. In the question, he's obviously giving some praise to Biden and just not acknowledging, one, are people trying to get you to run? And two, are you going to run? Do you want to run? Not answering that. Which, by the way, if his answer was no, he could just say no. And that'd be pretty easy and clean. But let's just live in a world where Gavin Newsom does want to run for president. Hard to imagine. It's not like the guy's power hungry and just wants to control. So it's a hard stretch to believe that he would want to run for president. I know. Just stay with me in this imaginary world. So if he did want to run, and let's say he's planning on running for president, he's not going to say that right now, because to have face in a way of manipulating public opinion, manipulating voters, he would want to show loyalty to the party. He would want to show loyalty to Biden. He's not going to come out and do like a Trump DeSantis thing where he's just bashing Biden. That's not really a good way to get in the sleazy backdoor way he's probably trying to get in. So he's just praising Biden. He's not willing to say, yes, I want to run, not willing to say I want to run in the future. Just, hey, I'm going to tell you about how good Biden's doing, because showing loyalty to the party and the current president, that's a good way to manipulate you people, isn't it? And I think there is a good possibility that not only is Gavin positioning himself, yes, but it's probably more accurate to say he's being positioned, because this idiot's just a puppet, just like any of the other ones. He's not a puppet. He's a useful idiot. Not just a regular idiot. He is a useful idiot. So the people behind the scenes, they have good use for Gavin Newsom because he's willing to do their bidding. He's kind of good looking. Not to say that I'm attracted to the guy. I'm not. But if I was attracted to guys, I'd probably say, dude, he's a handsome guy. He's well-spoken. He's quick on his feet, again, not in like an honest way, but like he can think. He talks well. He presents himself well. In other words, he puts on a good facade. Unlike some other politicians we know who don't put on such a good facade. They mostly can't speak English. They fall on stages. They fall upstairs. They fall off their bike. They don't know where to go. They're shaking hands with air. Obviously, Hunter's dad does not put on a good facade. That's what makes Gavin a useful idiot. And Biden has quickly become an unuseful idiot. That's why I believe it's possible Gavin is being positioned to get into the presidency maybe even before the 2024 election. And on that note, let's take a look at the wise person I mentioned and their breakdown of how and why he thinks Gavin's gonna get into office. He shows a great scenario, kind of point by point, exactly how that might work. And it aligns with my thinking as well. Not that I broke it down nearly as intelligently as he did. He's more nuanced, more intelligent than I, but it lines up with my thinking of what they are trying to do. Let's take a look at him. This is the Twitter account of Patrick Bet David. You've probably seen him. You probably know of him. He's got now a very big podcast called Valuetainment. He was on Rogan's podcast, Patrick Bet David. He does podcasts with really well-known people, and I'm impressed with the guy. I've also met him personally, so I've got that human experience with him, but I'm also really impressed with him. He is a very smart person. He's a thinker, and he's very curious. So with that said, here's what he posted on Twitter just recently. 2024 strategy to have Newsom replace Biden. Step 1. Have Newsom go around defending Biden, selling Biden's record. It shows loyalty. And that's exactly what Newsom was doing in that interview with Sean Hannity. Step 2, have him constantly attack DeSantis, which Newsom is definitely doing. Dems are convinced Trump will be forced to drop out. So presumably that's why this strategy involves now attack DeSantis. And I've actually rarely heard Gavin Newsom attacking Trump. I've actually heard him say favorable things about Trump, but he is just attacking DeSantis. I think the most hilarious attack Newsom does on DeSantis is he says, like, Florida is taking away your freedom. But if you want to be a free individual, if you want freedom, come to California, where you can stay in your home and pay half your income in taxes. Back to the breakdown. Step 3, if Biden doesn't step down, or like fall down, have mainstream media attack him. It's already happening. ABC, CBS, and NBC all went after him starting this week. And on that note, you got to remember, at best, Biden is a useful idiot. At worst, he's an unuseful idiot. He's now the worst. The puppet masters, the uniparty, they will not hesitate to throw Biden under the bus if they want to get a more useful idiot in the position of the presidency. So we might be witnessing the beginnings of Biden being thrown under the bus. So basically they can get him out of office, force him to step down, if not legally force him to step down. It's not at all a definite, but it's a strong possibility that could happen prior to the 2024 election. Step 4, once Jill notices these endless attacks, like Biden couldn't notice them himself. It's actually very well written because he couldn't. Once Jill notices these endless attacks, have a private meeting with Biden, sharing strategy to save face if he steps down, which would involve multiple documents showing him as a modern day FDR, 2, massive Simon & Schuster book deal. It'd be weird if he got money, honestly. Would that be weird? He probably doesn't even have like a direct link to his bank account that he could give Simon & Schuster. He'd probably say like, okay, like, I don't know, I guess the best way to pay me is you siphon the money to Ukraine, then hire my son to be on the board of directors of your book company, preferably an office in Ukraine. We'll get Hunter back on crack. Then you got to communicate with him, send the money. He'll lose the transaction file on his computer. Then after a couple years, we'll get the computer back, which never existed in the first place. Then I'll have the money and I can write the book. By the way, I won't even write the book. Ghostwriter will do it. Thank you for bearing with me on my breakdown of that, how he would receive the money from the book deal. And number 3, defend his legacy and be pardoned by Newsom if poop hits the fan. Makes sense. Will this happen? There's no definites, but this so far is a very wise, logical breakdown. Patrick Bet David, it's kind of like he sees life as a chessboard. And he's thinking not just about his moves, but like, what are the other people's moves and what might their move be 7 steps from now? Back to his tweet. Step 5, choose one of few options to step down. Number 1, due to health. Like if he stepped down tomorrow due to health concerns, whether they were named concerns, mental health, cognitive, not decline, but cognitive, like already flushed down the toilet, or physical, it's extremely believable because what he's like, his lack of vitality, it's incredibly obvious. So this is not hard to believe that could be a reason why he's stepping down, trying to publicly save face. Second option of him stepping down, Jill and I prayed about it. Dude, they're Satanists, but of course they'd be willing to lie because they're Satanists and say they prayed about it. Jill and I prayed about it and we decided it's time for us to go spend time with the grandkids. Yeah, well, it's Biden, so he in the shower. Hey, are the grandkids in the shower? All right, tell them I'll be in. Option number 3. We fixed everything Trump broke, and now it's time for someone else to do it. Okay, so you gotta basically bash Trump, put yourself above him. Yeah, I can see him doing it. Option number 4 of how Biden could step down. Edify Newsom as being loyal to Biden, unlike DeSantis not being loyal to Trump. Okay, so I think that would basically be a strategy, which he already kind of did that in the Hannity interview, where it's like anybody who supports Biden, and God help those people, but the Biden support just kind of gracefully gets handed to Newsom, you know, if he's edifying Biden. And then step 6 in this scenario of Newsom replacing Biden. In order to prevent Kamala from backstabbing, let her become the first female president for a split second when Biden steps down. Yeah, I think that's the best Kamala could hope for. And I think with step 6 for that to come to fruition, it might just be like, cool, uniparty's thrown Biden under the bus. We got to get that unuseful idiot out of office. Cool. And there's just like 7 months until the presidential election. Let's let Kamala just gratify her ego even more. She'll be president. She'll be the first female president, not elected, by the way. And that could be a way to appease her and just get her the hell out of the way while keeping her somewhat happy and her not trying to retaliate, backstab. Oh, and I like his note, if Kamala gets into office for a minute, Hillary will lose her mind, but what's new? Step 7, Newsom replacing Biden. Divide DeSantis and Trump camp to make sure MAGA doesn't vote for DeSantis. And that would speculatively be because there is no route for Trump winning the election, if you catch my drift. Censorship heavy YouTube, but I think you catch the drift that there might be a world where, say, Trump wins 100% of the votes, but doesn't win the election. Step number 8, Newsom becomes number 47. And last but not least, it's very likely that none of the above will happen, which is why it's called a prediction. Remember, only the paranoid survive. Yeah, Patrick Bet-David says his own prediction is unlikely. This exact scenario, or at least the beef of this scenario of Newsom replacing Biden at the latest, at least as the candidate for the 2024 election, man, I mean, I put that at 60%. And trust me, I'm an idiot. I'm not even a useful idiot. I'm just an idiot. But that's my prediction. 60% chance that Newsom will be the presidential nominee for 2024 on the Democratic side. Of course, my preference would be RFK Jr., which he's picking up steam. So let me clarify my position. 60% chance that the Uniparty will pick Newsom to be their candidate for the 2024 election. I do think there's actual real hope that RFK Jr. can win the nominee. Uphill battle when you got some election shenanigans going on, but 60% chance the Uniparty picks Newsom over Biden, Harris, any of the other leftists that could be in the running. So that's my thought. Let me know in the comments what you think the chances are of Newsom being the Democratic pick for office, or do you think someone else? I think Newsom's the most likely guy. I think he's more likely than Biden at this point. And of course, you can't trust the public propaganda of like, no, Biden's definitely running. He said he's running. He just fell down, but he's still running. He can't run. Literally can't run. Can't even walk, but he's running for president again. For sure. Not buying into any of that crap. Who's your prediction, and what do you think the odds are of that person or Newsom getting in? I appreciate you taking a gander through hypothetical lane with me about Gavin Newsom. Putting it lightly, I think he is a scumbag. And I define that as someone who's out for their own agenda, their own gratification, their own sense of control and power, who's willing to use people to serve them rather than being of service to people while lying about it the whole time. That's my definition of a scumbag. Just want to qualify the term and why I am accurately applying that from my perspective to Gavin Newsom. Gavin, if you're watching, thank you for subscribing. I don't like you. But you, my dear freedom-loving friend, I like you, I love you, and I appreciate you supporting me in this channel. I look forward to seeing you on our next video. But before you go, I want to tell you about something that supports the living life out of me and my health, and that is the Bond Charge Infrared Sauna Blanket. If you're not telepathically reading my mind right now, let me just tell you what I'm thinking. I'm the type of person, I like to feel and function my best, which means I like to be fit, be in great shape, little vain, like to look it, but also feel it, which means I'm also always looking to detoxify myself and find ways to reduce stress and promote relaxation. And I never thought there would be one product that helps me accomplish all those things at once. Truth is, I was wrong. The Bond Charge Infrared Sauna Blanket helps me do it. When it comes to improving your body composition, as your heart rate is elevated, you can burn up to 600 calories per session. Then with detoxification, you'll sweat like a champ, which helps flush toxins and heavy metals out of your system. Then one of my favorite benefits of the infrared sauna blanket is reducing stress. The infrared heat helps elevate your heart rate and release endorphins, so you leave this session feeling calm and relaxed. Just something I know I need a lot of. And aside from all the health benefits, here's one of my favorite parts of the infrared sauna blanket: how quick and easy it is to use. I've used other sauna systems, but part of the problem with them is they're big, bulky, they take up a ton of space in your house, kind of look like trash, and they're super expensive. Not the infrared sauna blanket. My opinion is the most cost-effective sauna system on the market. And it's compact. You just roll it out, setup is less than a minute, heats up super quick, and then the cleanup is super easy. Roll it back up, put it in a closet, and you're good to go. Bond Charge ships worldwide. They offer easy returns and exchanges, and it comes with a 12-month warranty. If you want to bring the benefits of infrared sauna into your life in the easiest, most cost-effective format I've ever found, then just go to bondcharge.com/JPReacts. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JPReacts for 15% off. Happy sweating, my friend.